You're listening to an archived Cabral Concept podcast. After listening to this show, check out the most up-to-date podcasts available at stephencabral.com/podcasts or search directly on iTunes. And now, welcome to the Cabral Concept, where board-certified naturopath and integrative health practitioner Dr. Stephen Cabral shares how he was diagnosed at the age of 17 with a life-altering illness and given no hope for recovery. It was only after studying and traveling all over the world did he discover how to combine ancient Ayurvedic healing practices with state-of-the-art naturopathic and functional medicine to fully rebalance the body and re-energize it with life. It's time to discover how to get well, lose weight, and finally feel alive again. And now, here's your host, Dr. Stephen Cabral.
I'm excited today to bring you this new episode. Really, what we're going to do today is get into one phrase that you absolutely must remove from your vocabulary. And if you have children, you have to get it right out of theirs as fast as humanly possible. If you don't, it's going to lead you down a corridor, down a path you do not want to go. It's one that causes more unhappiness, more lowered mood, darker thoughts, a place in life where you're not going to truly be at your best and reach your full potential. And so this is something that I've spoken about in the past, actually, before on our Mindset and Motivation Mondays. But I was inspired by a Tim Ferriss podcast. One of his guests, his name is Phil Kogan. He is, I believe, a Kiwi. He's from New Zealand originally. And he inspired me to bring up this topic to my audience because he did it in a way that I believe was probably more eloquently said than I've stated in the past. So Phil Kogan, he's been around, he's done a lot, he has great life experiences, he's traveled pretty much all over the world. And one specific thing that he passed on to his children that I'm going to make sure I do the same, and I'm going to be a lot more attentive to it as well, because I am attentive to it now, but not maybe as engaged as I should be. But what Phil Kogan said is that you absolutely must remove this one phrase. And that one phrase is, I can't. So whenever you catch yourself saying, I can't do that, I can't do this, I can't eat that way, I can't exercise, I can't get well, I can't whatever, what it's doing is it's literally, and Phil doesn't go into this, but now I'm going to get into it from a medical perspective, from a science-based perspective, just because that's not Phil's realm. He's actually, I believe he's a movie producer or has something to do with shooting documentaries, those types of things. And again, I'm not a big TV person that much. Of course, I do watch some shows, but he was big in producing the show Amazing Race, I believe. And obviously that's a amazingly popular TV show that's been on a long time. What I want to do, though, is I want to take this philosophy and go deeper on it. What happens when you tell yourself, I can't do something, or that you can't do something? It sets up these neural pathways within your nervous system and within your brain that then reinforces that every time you come across whatever that situation is. So before you even start, you've failed. And that's the worst part about it. Meaning that you are not allowing yourself to be open to the possibility of success. So what happens is every time you say, I can't, so I can't eat well, I can't not cheat, I can't not have alcohol with my friends. When you are in those situations, you've already made up your mind that you're not going to be successful, that you are not going to be able to refrain from going out with friends, having a great time, but not being able to drink alcohol. Or you're going out with friends, but you still have to have that cheat meal. You can't choose to eat healthier foods. Or you're not able to make it to the gym. You just can't because you're too busy, you're too this, you're too that. And some of these things are true, but all of them can be reversed. There's no doubt about that as well. Because if one of us can do it, if one person can do it, that means any one of us can do it. We just have to want it. We also have to reframe our vocabulary. I don't use the practice of neurolinguistic programming, but as I said, I'm someone that tries to study everything. So I studied the psychology of neurolinguistic programming. And this teaches you that as you say these phrases such as I can't, it also creates images within your mind. And since our mind really draws upon images to create emotions and thoughts, when you say I can't, you see someone who's weak. You're reinforcing a belief that you don't have the power, that you're not strong enough to do something in life. Now, I'll tell you this. You might say, I can't do that. I'm telling you right now, even if you say, I can't eat well, I can't eat vegetables, whatever it might be, right? Because I know people like that. That's contagious. By saying I can't, it could eventually flow into many other areas of your life, and that's not what I want for you. So all of a sudden, you're a person who can't eat well, who can't exercise, who can't now get healthy, who can't have the healthy relationships, who can't get that new job, who can't seem to pick themselves back up onto their feet. So another thing that Phil says, again, much more eloquently than I believe I have said in the past, is he says that you want to make sure that you do not surround yourself with a wall of no. I really love that phrase. That's what actually inspired me to do this podcast today. That one phrase, wall of no. Because I see people, even in my own practice, they know I can help them. There's no doubt about that. They know I can help them. They know I have the protocols. They know I have I've been through it. I have the background. I can help them. But still, they've built up such a strong wall of no. It's like a cement fortress that they live in. And they won't let other people's help. They won't let their potential come out. They're stuck behind these walls. And they almost have no way of breaking them down because they've set themselves up in this safe little secure space that if they just stay there, yes, they're not exactly their happiest. They're not exactly their healthiest. But if they stay here, they're not most likely going to get hurt anymore. And that's a very scary position. I understand why people get there. It's because they've left themselves vulnerable before in the past. They've tried and they've failed. So now they've walled themselves up saying, I can't do that. Based on my previous experiences, based on my family history, based on my genetics, based on all these things, I haven't been successful before. No one in my family has been successful. My friends are all overweight, anything that it might be. All of a sudden now, you're part of that. You can't. It's part of your wall of no. You've literally sheltered yourself off to the possibility of becoming better. And I like to say the possibility of becoming great. Why strive for good in your life when you can actually become great? I think that's a really important concept to look at. But I know that no one becomes great before they at least become good. And so that's all I want each one of us to strive for. And I think all of us are great in our own way, but maybe not great in as many facets as we would like. So we could be a great parent, but maybe we're not great at taking care of our health. Maybe we're not great at taking care of our other relationships, right? So we have to look at what area are we talking about, because that's always what I chat with you about. That's always what I'm trying to bring to focus. What area do we need to work on? And then keep yourself open to possibility. That's literally all I ask. That is how you start to become great. That is how you reach your full potential. All you do is say to yourself, yes, I don't have all the answers. I'm not going to lie to myself. I don't have the answers, but I'm leaving myself open to the possibilities. And I'm not going to say I can't do it. And the reason I'm not going to say I can't do it is because I know there's been at least one other person who has done it. And if they can do it, so can I. If them, why not me? Because here's the thing. If I can find the blueprint, if I can find the map, then surely I can copy their success and fake it until I make it. Remember, if you've never, let's just say 2-hour drive from your current house right now to a place that you've never been before. If you just got in your car, you would have no idea how to get there. You might just say, okay, well, go west, go east. But if I gave you an address like 14 Magnolia Road in your city, and you just looked at it oh, there is actually one, you would have no idea how to get there most likely. But what I'm saying is, if someone gave you what used to be, I remember MapQuest back in the day, you'd have that printout. And then there was obviously better GPS, and now there's Waze, right? Everybody uses that app Waze in the US at least, and I'm sure overseas as well. So if someone gives you that, it's hard not to succeed. The only way that you can't, and you won't, is if you don't listen to the instructor, which is Waze, or to that map, or to those voice directions, right? And even if you take a wrong turn, what happens? It recalibrates. You recalibrate. You get back on track. No one is asking you to be successful your first time. I'm not saying that. I don't even expect that. I would honestly hate for that, because one of the only reasons that I think I am in the position that I am, and again, like I'm just focused on health, I don't know a lot about all the other great things that other people know about, is because I failed so many times, but eventually just kept sticking with it, that I discovered so many interesting things and disciplines along the way. And that's all I want for you, and whatever your chosen field is. And again, it can change as well. But here's the thing. None of that will ever happen. It can't happen if you don't leave yourself open to it. And you can't leave yourself open to it if you've created those neural pathways that are blocked in your mind every time you say, I can't. So if you want to get well, yeah, maybe you've never been well. That's okay. Remove that now from your mindset. You're not going to lie to yourself, but what you're going to say is this, is that I can get well, or I can get well. I always get made fun of for that "can" in my accent. So what I want you to think is this. When you just start to say, I can get well, right? You can get well. You can lose the weight. You can get healthy. You can find that relationship that you want. You can get the career that you're looking for. You can do any of those things. And you can do that once you start talking to yourself in that specific way. You're not saying, I know how. What you're saying is, I can. Because you are able to. You are human. You have the strength and the power to be able to do that once you allow that into your life. So right now, what I want you to do this week, so we're on a Monday. Hopefully you're listening to this on a Monday. This week, you just have to catch yourself saying, I can't. Any type of negative thing that blocks you off from the possibility of being successful, you're going to stop right when you say it. You're just going to snap your fingers. You're going to create some type of pattern disrupt that blocks you from every time saying that block, just stop. You have to give yourself some type of signal that you're going to stop that. And I want you to now, if you have a family, bring this into your family. And you're going to say to each other, we are not going to use the word I can't in this family. And I'm going to do the same exact thing. And again, I'm lucky that I decided to wait to have kids until my 30s. I didn't feel that I would be, and this was a conscious decision. I didn't feel I was in an appropriate place in my life to be a good father, and I wanted to really be a good father. And so I worked on myself really hard, and I worked on a lot of areas of my life to now be able to try to pass some of those things on to my children. And believe me, I am by no means perfect. And my kids will tell you that, my wife will tell you that, but I try, I really do. And that's all that matters. So I'm without a doubt going to implement this in my family if I haven't already been doing a good enough job, but I'm going to be really more conscious of that. There is not going to be any phrase I can't used ever. It's going to be twisted back to I can. And you can really and honestly achieve anything you want. So if I hear one of my daughters say that, or if I hear my wife or hear anybody say that, I will be that annoying guy. But what I'm going to say is, you simply don't know how. You don't have the knowledge right now to accomplish that, but let's figure it out together. I know that we can do that. And for you, I'm telling you right now, choose a goal, whatever that goal is, and you say that you can't do it, you can. Just make sure you want to. Make it a priority, because if you make it a priority, you'll put the time in, you'll put the effort in, you'll find the mentor, you'll read the book, you'll look at the article, whatever it might be, and you'll be well on your way. But it all starts with reframing the way that you speak to yourself. You will not use the word or phrase I can't any longer, and that will be your first step to accomplishing everything that you want to in life. But it first starts with the step of believing that you can. And even if you don't believe yet, it's to change the words to I can. Once you start saying that, then you will then create new neural pathways within your brain and nervous system that light up, that open up with now a sea of possibilities. Thank you everyone for tuning into another Mindset and Motivation Monday. Absolutely some of my favorite shows. And again, they inspire me, just these topics, to really bring them to you. It wasn't the full show, but I like to give credit where credit's due. And Phil Kogan on the Tim Ferriss podcast this past week was a great inspiration for this topic, and especially with that phrase that I love, the wall of no. Make sure that you never, ever in your life create a wall of no around you that holds you back from reaching your full potential. Before you go, I wanted to ask you this question. What if I could teach you in just a couple of hours how to transform your thyroid, hormones, adrenal, cholesterol, blood pressure, blood sugar, weight loss, energy, mood, brain, pregnancy, anti-aging, or many other health-related issues? After 20 years in private practice, after seeing and overseeing 250,000 client appointments, I sincerely feel I have the real-world data and have found the answer you've been searching for. So what I've done is spent hundreds of hours of my own time refining what you need to know in order to uncover your underlying root cause health issues and then begin to rebalance the body and bring it back to a state of robust health and wellness. I'm going to teach you exactly what I do in my private practice so you can understand how you got here and now what you need to do in order to heal. You'll receive all of the important success checklists, protocols, and even ways to customize it to make the program fit your busy life. And you'll get all of this at a fraction of the price. Let me save you the time, money, energy, stress, and frustration of not knowing what to do next. Instead of reading dozens of books on the topic and seeing multiple practitioners, I will condense everything that you need to know in just a few hours of video tutorials that you can watch and listen to anywhere. Together, we will make this healing process an enjoyable one that you can take with you for the rest of your life. I wish you all of the best of health and happiness, and I hope to be able to guide you on your healing journey through my Health Results Accelerators. Simply choose the health imbalance you're currently suffering from, and by the end of today, you'll know what went wrong and how to get well again. I guarantee it. For details, head over now to stephencabral.com/courses.